morning. It's only you and a bridge. It's so beautiful. In the evening it's lit up. It's called the Charles Bridge. You see?
And it's only for
Black Tower,
pedestrians.
and it's only for pedestrians. The building with the gilded top is the National Theatre. One more bridge further is the Dancing House. So what we saw now, you see the two modern buildings, or the few modern buildings. This is the business district. That's when we were getting to Prague yesterday from Třebíč. Then the building with the crane, there's a building with the green cupola and gilded top. This is the National Museum.
Oh.
So we drove from the
that's-
Dancing House.
And that's the one that was attacked by the Soviets.
And that's when they were thinking it's a radio station. So we were getting from the Dancing House through the Charles Square to Wenceslas Square. Then we saw the passageway with the statue of Saint Wenceslas riding on a dead horse, done by Černý. Then you see the two black spires far away. These are the residential areas I showed you.
Oh yes.
You see the communication tower.
Correct. That's a finger of
The
Brezhnev.
Brezhnev's finger. So we have Vinohrady, Žižkov. That's where we bought the strudel. The guy on a horse, you know, in the museum, the army museum. Trisar is the Jewish quarter. So this is called the Old Town, and the Jewish quarter is in the Old Town.
So we'll be seeing that in the future. And this is the business district, so we made a big circle around the town. And the river is in the shape of a P, like for Prague. Yes, National Museum. So I started to talk about him. Saint Wenceslas he was not a king like on the Christmas song. He was a prince. He lived in the 800s, 900s when all around him were mainly pagans. Czechs worshipped their own god. His name was Žiži. And they were very happy with their Žiži till Christianity got introduced here. And what was so important that he did, he chose the Western liturgy. Even though, you know, the Christianity came from East, later Czechs became the vassals of the Germanic tribes. So the word Slav, slave, it's not slaving, it's like basically. This is the oldest elevator. You just hop right on and it goes right up. Wenceslas Square, and then you see the old architecture, and then the Soviet architecture, and then Art Nouveau. So we're in a park in Prague. So this is the view of Prague from on top of the hill.
building was built here in the 1890s to show ironwork. It was brought here, not built here. This communication tower is called the Finger of Brezhnev because it's so ugly.
We started, well, I'm sorry, I will tell you what you're looking at. So, river names, or it's called Vltava. V-L-T-A-V-A. Vltava, or Moldau in German. And when you look at the larger map of...
So this is inside the Strahov Library in Prague.
Pictures. Let's go back, we mentioned beginning of the Czech history, 880. Czechs are pagans, they worship their own god Žiži. Then Christianity is being introduced, and then the king and the church since Constantine, they work together. And there is a Czech bishop, his name was Henry, who in 11th century went to Holy Land. And then you see the sign for life and death, Bibis and Mortus. Then you see tombstone is behind the two men, and books are hanging on the trees. So this represents, despite the fact that the author of the book died, he still has something to give us. Because what we are doing, we are keeping, the knowledge for the next generations. That's why I mentioned education in the hands of, Christian world. Education in general, that's why Maria Teresa is hated today by children because they have to go to school.
This is a revolving table that the monks in the monastery invented so they don't have to pile up the books. And this is in the 1780s. So this is the philosophy room.
Joseph II, who
This is from the
mentioned,
1780s.
you should have a last names, people are drafted to the army, education. He says we don't need so many monasteries. And he abolished most of them. And imagine this environment. Look at the man standing behind the one. He looks like George Washington. Yes. He is the head of the monastery at that time. And imagine here is a granary. The ceiling is below the balcony, the same level like the first room. And he wrote a letter to the officials. Please, can I convert a granary into a library? The answer was yes, you can do it. Second letter, can I buy my own bookshelves from the monastery that you already abolished nearby, like we were yesterday in Austrian borders? The answer was, well, we would give it to you for free, but if you talk about pay. 100 wagons brought these bookshelves. Today, 5 hours driving by car. 1780s. There is a gentleman, mid-80s, and he finished 1794. And let me to take you now, if you don't mind, we go together to get the message of the ceilings.
This is the tree of life.
Is, Noah and his ark. Underneath them, carved in a stone, is Cain and Abel. In white.
Yeah, Cain and Abel.
See in the corner. Underneath, holding the apple.
On his.
Oh yes, the statue.
On the right, with the turban, is Abraham and Isaac.
Wow.
When you look at this section of the Jewish Bible, 10 Commandments on the left, Moses on the right, Aaron. Ark of Covenant. King David is playing harp. Mm-hmm. And King Solomon is writing the Proverbs.
And who painted this?
It was a gentleman, his name was Anton Malberg, and I'll show you his signature.
Yeah, in the Chanukiah they forgot to put a shamash, it's a pomegranate. And then Moses used to have horns, but they painted over it in white. 6 years ago when they realized that it was
And again, they
misinterpretation.
built these libraries when?
This one is 1794.
And the other one was...
And 1680. So you see, sir, the same height.
Wait, there's only one tower though.
No, the Eiffel Tower
Yeah.
and this tower.
Are they the same
Together,
size?
how many meters we are above the sea level?
Yes.
They're in the same height.
Oh, I see.
But here, the castle, St. Vitus Cathedral, we are heading there. It's a seat of the president today. As I mentioned, many different buildings. It's called the Prague Castle. Below the Prague Castle is a beautiful section called Lesser Town. Wall of John Lennon, St. Nicholas Church, you know, beautiful gardens. Again, just go and get lost. The two black towers, towers of the Charles Bridge, Württemberg Palace, and look at the gables that are in shape of Chinese pagodas.
Ah. So that's graffitos.
First president of Czechoslovakia, Thomas Garrick Masaryk, who was so good to Jewish people, who went to Palestine, who was sponsored by the Jewish community in Pittsburgh, who had, you know, independent country. And the motto: don't be afraid, don't lie, don't.
First one is don't lie. Next one is don't steal. Next one is to work hard and don't be afraid of anybody. Oh.
Preparing and all that.
Here comes the Korean, I guess, the ambassador. Because tomorrow is Independence Day here. So they're getting ready for their big celebration. And this is the castle. Who's coming?
Ambassador. You see their ambassadors getting from the reception. And there are the cars ready for them.
So this one is the Spanish ambassador. So the Spanish ambassador is coming. Also, all the dignitaries are coming for tomorrow's celebration. So which country is this one? Neogothic.
Is the continent. The east part. That's when they started in 1344. How they are building, and the roof of the church is in completely different style. It's Renaissance. So it's 1500s, and you see in between the roof and the structure, 100 years nothing happened. There was like a
oh yeah. So this is the demarcate.
And then from the clock tower till the end is the 19th century and 1929.
And this one is 1929.
You see,
wow.
half is old, half is new. We're going to be looking at from the Charles Bridge. Seat of the president.
Yeah, there's the Israeli ambassador. So this one is the municipal building that we're going to be going in. This is called Powder Tower because of the gunpowder. This is the main entrance to the municipal house.
I will switch on for a better picture. Which used to belong under the dominance of the Austro-Hungarian monarchy up to 1918. So that's why the Prague City Council decided to build this house. And the house was built during 7 years, from 1905 to 1912. And so far it has served as a multi-purpose house in which are given many events, like concerts, congress, conferences, different meetings, exhibitions, balls, fashion shows, etc. This hall,
This is the box where the president of Czech Republic stays, and it used to be for the emperor. This box is where the mayor of Prague days. So this is a self-portrait of Alphonse Mucha, and this is his muse, Sarah Bernhardt.
From 1994 to 9 those, and all the mirrors here
This is Art Nouveau.
pure Empire style.
But the curtains are
Regarding the
Empire
combination of these two styles, let me show you this mosaic about the main door. This mosaic is original. Here around
These are opals and diamonds.
Okay, yeah.
Opals and diamonds in bronze.
Well, here around you can see a few round tables.
So this is an antique coffee maker that they use daily during the concerts. This used to be the ladies' parlor for intermission. They would play cards and chat. And the men's side was separate. They would talk politics.
Receptions, etc. What does it mean? If you want to celebrate here something really special
It's an
or
aquarium.
important for you, this aquarium can be cleaned at first, and after it can be filled with champagne, wine or vodka. What is typical for Art Deco? Mosaics, which you can see in the background, then many colors, I mean more colors than for Art Nouveau, and many geometric shapes, which you can see mostly at these two front pillars. This fountain has worked so far just for decoration with water. It's possible. So in this hall you can see one rarity of the municipal house. This is this piece of floor we are standing. The last lady's parlor, which is named Oriental, before also Serbian. Coming here you may see the Oriental influence really everywhere. On the ceiling, on the chandeliers, and all the walls everywhere are embellished with typical Oriental motifs or decoration. So in this hall you can see the combination of Art Nouveau and Oriental style, more exactly Islamic Anatolian art, which was very popular in the beginning of the 20th century. By the way, this hall is the only one hall of the municipal house which is completely original. There is no copy, no replica, except the floor, as I said before, but all other things are so far. All other pieces of the central heating were replaced by more up-to-date models, of course, but this one is the last one. If you look around, you can see the pillows and hall, which is named after a Czech politician and big patriot Mr. Dr. Julius Gregor. This hall is the most important hall of the municipal house because exactly here was declared the first Czechoslovak Republic on the 28th of October 1918. I said Czechoslovak, which doesn't exist anymore because since 1993 there are two independent republics, the Czech and the Slovak Republic. But after the fall of the Austro-Hungarian monarchy, Czech people used to coexist with Slovak people for about 7 years. And in honor of the declaration of this first republic, exactly here are given many conferences and meetings. But originally it was second and smaller concert hall of the municipal house. Regarding the decoration, just in front of you, you can see the biggest triptych of this house. This triptych was painted in 1911 by Czech painter Mr. Ženíšek, and it depicts the circle of life from the young německy, ne feminine, francouzsky female. Teď mi to došlo, no, ale to mám This is the hall. Why? In this hall, men usually used to go to drink, smoke, and relax after their meetings in the previous one. Officially, is this hall named after another Czech patriot and politician, Mr. František Palacký. And all the paintings represent allegories. On the ceiling, you can see allegory of spring, and just in front of you, these two big paintings represent allegories of summer. You can see their typical summer and relaxing motifs. There are also two mirrors almost. By the way, Alphonse Mucha was born in Moravia, but he became famous in France, in Paris, doing a few posters for the theatre La Comédie Française, and he was also personal friend of French actress Sarah Bernard. Thanks to her, he became famous not only in France, but a little bit later also in the United States of America. His masterpiece is named the Slav Epic, the Slav Epic, and at this moment the Slav Epic isn't here in Prague because it's in Japan, in Tokyo, and it will be back next year here in Prague. In this hall you can see another masterpiece of Mucha, and this is the painting on the ceiling which is named the Slavonic Concord. And now I have a question for you. If you look at the bird which is painted, and this is the patriotic house, that's why Alphonse Mucha decided to paint falcon. So the bird you saw in the first lady hall, it was also falcon, and you guessed it. Great. So under this painting with falcon, you can see a few pendants with portraits of important people from Czech history. Let me call your attention only to one man, more exactly boy. This is this small boy just in front of us. This small boy lived during 14th century, and he was chanted this with portraits of important people, and the most important is Charles IV.
This is Charles IV.
All other men are priests, soldiers, and other important
And these
people.
are the Alphonse Mucha muses.
Yeah, this sounds this is Art Deco, and also if you look at the upper part of these two cartons on both sides, it's Oriental style. By the way, the cartons on both sides are original, they are handmade according to the Mucha's project as well. In English is a cross. Yeah, and Mr. Křižík
This was
you can,
designed-
if you want, shall I?
Okay. And this was by Alphonse Mucha also.
Yeah, according to his project.
Pretty fancy curtain.
Czech composers and musicians, Bedřich Smetana and Antonín Dvořák, who we were speaking about in the beginning of our tour in the Smetana Hall. Last one is Dvořák, and next to him is Smetana. Sorry. I would like to show you also this library.
These are the writers.
It's named Allegory of Prague, and the material is the combination of bronze and wood. So, if you look above this main door, you can go in Art Deco. If you remember well what I said about these styles for Art Nouveau are typical flowers. Beginning of the
This is
20th
the Royal
century,
Emblem
Prague
of
was
Prague.
divided only into 6 parts. That's why there are only 6 emblems, 4 on the side and 2 on the opposite side. If you look at any emblem, as I said, all of them are the same. You can
So this clock is actually made of gold. It's not gilded. Lots of Art Nouveau in this municipal hall.
And some Jewish as well.
So this is the National Cemetery at Terezin. In the back is the fort. And this is a burial site.
In 1993, it was decided we don't have army. So till 1993, this would be very cheerful and happy, you know. Say, you know, a place where when you have soldiers, you have casinos, you have you know, everyday life. And this is a state that is brought into from 1993. It is not because of the war.
And the sign that's on this wall, what does that
It
say?
says Warsaw Pact,
Yeah.
Shield of Socialism.
Oh, okay. And this is one of the gates to Terezin. So all these buildings in Terezin were used as prison camp for the concentration camp.
whatever you want to, use the term, it's a transit camp. It's definitely, in a word, of a ghetto, like a Warsaw ghetto. It's a place that you are, shut in and you're enclosed. We talk about the history of the Western world. They heard the rumors, what they call about Auschwitz. The Nazis said, no, we have to keep the world quiet in order to continue to murder people. So we have to show that we have whole war. So they came 1942 and they were liberated here. Some people like our, Třebíč, let's say, when we were, so we can feel connected now, their transports. They stayed here 3 days.
Oh my.
Till they were sent to Lublin, Poland, to Auschwitz. Some people stay 2 hours. Yes. The same case like Třebíč. They said the Nazis, we need 1,000 people, and the Jewish people had to choose the names, right? Because the whole place is, you have the Nazis, then you have the Jewish self-government, and then you have
These are different shopping hours for the Jews.
things that are forbidden. The Jews are the curse of the nations. And you read it in the newspapers as well. And, because they call it hidden, it's more the fear of the presence. The Nazis don't care. It doesn't cause, uprising or anything. Let them play, they're gonna end up, we know where they
So this was the hidden
these
synagogue.
people are taking, colors.
This is the VIP quarters in Terezin. Or Terezin.
Where 60 women would live. Some of the doctors, like Fleischmann, he took care of the patients, so he will show you from his perspective, how he saw the inside. Bedřich Frita, he would try to smuggle the pictures out of the ghetto. They caught him and killed him for propaganda of horror. And so these are only choices of the curators, which you're going to see, notice, and what was found also.
Yeah, right.
1930s, so it's perfectly Renaissance, pure Renaissance, and it was functioning until 1880s. Then, during the clearance of the ghetto, it got shut down. Nobody really used it anymore, and it survived.
So this is the synagogue in Prague, where all the names of the killed Jews from Moravia, Bohemia, Prague are on the walls. So this is the ancient Jewish cemetery.
Walk, you're directed. It's so smart. Anyhow, whenever you see a stone that's not facing Jerusalem, you know it's been replaced. So, meaning, you know, if it was riots, if it was all kind of things.
So the clock is in Hebrew letters here in the Jewish quarter.
Out under condition. So the story of the name of the synagogue could be told differently, and it's by the angels who brought the stones from Bet HaMikdash, from the second temple that was destroyed, and they said, build here the shul under condition. When the Mashiach comes, you return the stones. So you can choose which one you like more,
So
if you like the very practical version of new and old, or the angels in the story, or whatever.
This is all part of the Jewish quarter, rebuilt in the 1800s. These are all part of the Jewish quarter. This is inside the Spanish synagogue.
So, we spoke about the earliest shul that was built in the Jewish quarter post-Crusaders, and that's right here. That was an 1140 late Romanesque Gothic altar shul that was knocked down by the community to make space for. We can build anything, and we're not limited by height as we used to be by the Catholic Church. We're not limited in materials. We have money because this is already in the process of Industrial Revolution. The Moorish architecture does not really mean it's Sephardi. It's Ashkenazi. But the message is we are reliving the golden age. And we take Rambam's era, even though that's wrong too, for a golden era. Give me a second.
This is inside the Jerusalem synagogue.
Of new organ in the St. Vitus Cathedral of Prague. And we have a similar project where we of course are not speaking about millions, because at the Prague Castle, at the St. Vitus Cathedral,
So this train was built during Soviet times in 1978. So here we're inside the Rudolphinium for our final dinner.
My partner invented. We had over 100 items in our company. We sold the radio shack, AT&T, Haley, products. We sold it. And I'm still in the same business. This company makes microphones.
This is the Rudolphinium concert hall where we had our gala dinner last night. There's their imitation Eiffel Tower. Well, the place is crawling with swans. So that must be the castle district of Prague. This is the Charles Bridge that we'll be walking across. It has all these medieval sculptures, and one of them at the very end is a typical anti-Semitic one from Middle Ages.
Osmanlı'nın gelmesine müsaade ederseniz alacağınız hal budur. Yani bilinç altınıza ilk gelen mesaj esasında size verilmek istenen mesaj. Bir de hikaye uyduruyorlar, bir çoban o acı çeken Hristiyanların özgürlüğüne kavuşuyor.
So this is actually called Lesser Town, and the noise we're hearing is their, I guess, an air raid or some sort of siren that they test once a month on Wednesdays. And then they put on caramel, Nutella, pistachio, or white chocolate. This is the John Lennon wall in Prague. It's like a whole bunch of graffiti to me.
Hold it.
A la verdad sí me lo voy a fijar.